Hey everyone, Scott Solari with Real Synch. So excited to have this webinar discussing radio, television, generating listings. What some of the top producers here that I'm going to introduce are doing to continue to thrive in the state of real estate and what it is right now, right? So I want to start off and introduce Mr. Matt Wagner. Matt is the CEO of Radio and Television Experts, the Rate Group, which has brought these amazing people together. And thank you so much for being here, Matt. And then I want to quickly go through and just introduce each person, and then we're going to get right into it because there's nothing more that people hate than waiting 30 minutes to get introductions done. So I'm going to start with Misty Solwich. Misty, you are in the Des Moines market in Iowa, and just talk a little bit about your team, the size of your team, and kind of the production that you're doing. And that's how we'll go through with each person real quick.
Okay, great. I've been in real estate for 23 years, have had a team for about a little over 10 years now. And last year we did 440 units. There are around 18 of us on the team. Love all the things that Rate offers us, as well as the other people that are on here. So
Awesome. And you've been in the group for how long now? Or
10 years.
10 years. There we go. Love it. Okay. Thanks, Misty. We're gonna jump Jason Bramblett. Mr. Bramblett is from Greenville or Greensboro? Sorry.
The borough, man.
Somewhere in North Carolina, right?
In the middle. I'm in the middle. That's where we are. So yeah, 25 years in real estate, 15 years with Rate, 15 years with radio and TV.
And 1 month with a goatee.
And 1 month with a goatee. That's right. That's my team said, man, you got to get more relatable and like the young people and get rid of the suit and just like chill. So this is chill Jason. This is what
is a goatee relatable? I don't know if this
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, Jason, talk about what's the size of your team, production? Give the a little bit.
Yeah, we actually are growing pretty quick with what we're doing right now. So we've got 26 people onboarded. So last year I think we had 12. So we almost doubled this year. And our goal is 100 agents by the end of the year. And how we're driving that is through hitting radio hard, hitting some of the good talk shows and hosts that we have, using our radio show to also drive that traffic, and just everything we're doing. We're talking about growth, adding people. So that's our mantra right now.
Nice. Love it. And the last but not least, Mr. Ryan Young from Cleveland, Ohio. Ryan, talk to us a little bit, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm thinking maybe I chop off the rest of the beard and go with the goatee as well. And I need to get more relatable. So we have the young team in Cleveland, 13 agents, last year 550 homes, 175 million in volume, really dense, high per productivity per agent team. We're taking a page out of Jason's book, though. We want to start scaling our agent count. I think we've kind of had that Navy SEAL mentality for a while, and now we're starting to see, got to keep growing the agent count. So definitely a focus of ours. But obviously been with Rate for 7, 8 years now, Matt, something like that. And it's been huge for us. It's allowed us to grow geographically, which has allowed us to expand to Akron and Canton and all over Northeast Ohio. So it's been really big for us.
Love it, man. All right. So what we're discussing today, people that are watching, thank you for being here, is generating, being top of mind, using everything that you normally do in your business, but then enhancing it by having radio and television and being promoted in your market and using that media in order to continue to generate more listings and seller leads. So I wanted to talk, we want to talk today about how it's working in each of your markets, what you're doing, what's unique, and what you find really being a benefit, especially now more than any, more than the last 5 years when, real estate's almost been not easy in a sense, but the market's just been crazy. And it's a little bit, now you got to, sell yourself a little bit more, right? So why don't we start with you, Misty? Tell me a little bit about what you're doing to maximize, radio and TV in your market. I know you have a radio show. Talk a little bit about that and like what you're seeing when it comes to still being, the leader in getting in and getting the listings in your market.
Yeah, you know, radio and television has been really huge to the growth of my business, and kind of like Ryan touched on too, just geographical area, all of that. I mean, I'd been in real estate for quite a while before I started, so I had a little bit of name recognition, but so minuscule compared to as I started working with different personalities. So I work with multiple morning show personalities on country and talk radio. I have done television with a Barbara Corcoran endorsement for quite some time. And then in 2020, I launched a weekly radio talk show on a sports talk station, and that's gone really well. The personality from the sports talk station has since become licensed and a member of my team as well. So really have integrated everything together.
I love that. So your radio talk show led to a recruiting opportunity to bring in someone onto your real estate team.
Yes, and someone that, we do virtual open houses every week. It is awesome to be able to have her be part of that because, my agents are really great at it because we've been doing it a long time, but she kicks it up a couple more levels. And just our clients, there's just a lot of people that are big fans of her. So it's just a nice way to integrate all the branding that is there for me and my team with another side.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, and that's something that, if you step back and think about when you were starting a radio show that you didn't anticipate, but naturally by being in the position that you're in and being out there and branding yourself, you were able to attract that person to be part of the team, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So how do you feel like, when it comes to listings, because I know it's the big talk of the town right now is that there's low inventory and there's just not as many people, listing properties. Like, how have you seen it affect you? Has it affected your business at all? And then kind of where do you feel like you're in a position of leverage within your market?
Well, I think that during a period of time where it made it look like it was super easy to sell homes because it was, because there was little inventory and things were so quickly moving, it really helped us to be able to create that opportunity to still show our value, because we weren't someone that just walked off the street and got our license. They know our brand, they trust our brand, and we're able to articulate that there is a difference. But as the market has started to shift, people that maybe felt okay with listing with their coworkers' son or their friend of a friend who just got their license, they're like, no, I know things are a little different now, and it's important for me to go with a trusted brand rather than just some random person. And so that's where just having that branding and name recognition just helps us stand out.
I love that. So yeah, people are smartening up a little bit and going with professionals rather than their cousin who doesn't know anything. Okay, I love that. That's great. So I'm gonna transition and jump to Mr. Bramblett here. Jason, like, talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you're seeing, you know, what you're, and then Matt, feel free to jump in if you want me to play any, you know, we have some examples, some really great radio spots and TV, so we can always do some examples. And
Yeah, I mean, if you want to show Misty looks great on TV.
yeah,
I mean,
great. Yeah. You know what? Let's do that right now, real quick. Let's do a spot, air share sound. Let's show what Misty's doing here. Let's do this one. And
Taking one cash offer
you guys hear that? We're good.
for your home doesn't have to be your only option. I'm Barbara Corcoran, and especially in today's current market, having a local real estate agent who offers great marketing and options customized to fit your needs is smart. In Des Moines, the agent I trust is Misty Soldwish. Misty can give you a guarantee to sell your home or help you buy your next home before you list, and she can let you out of your contract at any time. Get the option that's right for you. Go to soldencentraliowa.com.
All right.
That's a great spot.
Yeah. So Misty, talk before I jump to Jason, talk a little bit about that. And like, you know, I mean, do people mention the ad when you're talking to them? Like, hey, like, talk a little about how that has
I want to know, how many products have you been pitched over the years, Misty?
I've had multiple people walk into my office with different things saying they wanted me to send it to Barbara. So yeah, people definitely get the connotation and want me to connect them to her. But you know, what's interesting is even when a potential seller comes to us from a completely different source, one thing that we've trained our inside sales team to do when they're talking to the potential client is, you know, have you ever heard Misty on the radio? Have you seen her commercials on TV? And so even if it's a completely different source, then it's amazing how then they'll be like, well, yeah, I did. Or even if they're not as familiar with either the radio or the TV, then they're like, oh, she's everywhere then, right? And so really, it really gives a validation of our track record of success.
Yeah.
Do you find that also increases your commission?
Well, it definitely helps us protect having a strong commission. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's often overlooked. The value of all the different marketing angles that people use. It can justify and close listings, makes it a no-brainer. And if you can make more money on it, that's also a great incentive. That kudos to you for teaching the team how to also use those elements on your listing presentations. So I've had some situations where people the agents don't even know what their team leader is doing. And
yeah, well, it's a piece of our listing presentations. It's a piece of all of our different marketing pieces because we want people to touch on that, even if that wasn't the initial connection. So very important.
you've even added a jingle too to that. That's been a new addition since you keep adding new ideas.
Yes, the Gary LeVox jingle has been really fun, and we've incorporated it into our social media and into bus benches and everywhere that we can.
This is just a great example of someone who, and all of them are on this call, of someone who teaches their team how to leverage what they use to make more money and close more deals. Whether or not they came to them because of it, they leverage it to make the most out of it. And she's a great example of someone who does a wonderful job of that.
Well, and what you were touching on before too, like in protecting our commissions, we flat out say to people if they start asking questions about costs on the phone, like, we are not going to be the cheapest option there, but we're going to be the option that nets you the most money. So just prepare for that up front. We will show you the value that we'll bring to you. But if you're looking for cheap, that's not us.
I love that. Especially when you're proactively putting that up front. it
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure I
gets
learned
all
that from
that.
Jason Bramlett.
Yeah, I know. And that's actually a good transition, because I know, Jason, you've kind of, this is something that you've spoken about a lot when it comes to those conversations, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing that radio and TV allows you to do is, let's face it, a lot of real estate agents are treated like commodities, right? And they're not very valuable. With the leverage of radio and TV and endorsements, we're a premium product. And so we don't get a lot of kickback. I mean, people, when people hear Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck or Barbara Corcoran or, some of their hero people that they listen to every day, and they listen to them every day, especially on talk, or your sports guy, whoever, they're in that know, like, and trust with those people already. And that just gets carried over to you. And so, I mean, I've said to many people, I'd be like, Scott, do you think that Sean Hannity is a discount service provider? So why would we consider discounting our service? No, we're a premium product.
Right.
And so we set that expectation. We don't get a lot of kickback, and it's a real easy comparison, and so who are they comparing us to? If it's the agent working from their kitchen table, well, of course that person can, do it at a lesser cost. They don't have any advertising dollars. They don't have a building they're in. They don't have a staff, all they're doing is working to eat. But, I like to draw analogies to people outside of real estate a lot of times, because to things that they do more often, whether it be go to restaurants or buy cars. And so, most people get it that if you take the busiest street in your town, USA, where all the car dealers are at, there's a lot of traffic. And the good old boy that's selling his car out of his front yard, well, of course, it's a different price, right? Because it's a different experience. He's not going to have as many eyeballs on it. So, it's allowed us to really to separate ourselves out. Most people, when they call, we go to the appointment, they do not expect us to be a discount service by any stretch of the imagination.
Whoa. You're going to appointments?
What's that?
You're going to appointments?
I am not going to appointments, no, but some of the agents have started to go on appointments, Matt.
Because you are the king of getting people to come to the office for years.
Oh, that's coming back. Don't worry. It's coming back. The market just we had to get out of that 2.5 week inventory,
I was giving you a hard time because you
I
do great
know.
at that.
But that is another thing too, that we did leverage really well. And I think radio helps that as well. Again, all these things that we're touching on, it's just lets you stand out, and it sets an expectation that we invest in our company, our team, our product, and our clients, because it gets more eyeballs with, all those things we do get more eyeballs on that client's home, typically greater exposure, greater sales price, greater options.
And how do you feel like it positively affects, like, you taking listings, or maybe even not competing for listings necessarily, right?
I would say almost zero competition. I tell my listing partners not every day, but often, that, look, these people are calling us. They have already hired us. You're the only one that can screw it up. So don't screw it up. So, because they've already made a decision. They called us. They hit our website. They are reaching out saying, hey, this person that I listened to on the radio for the last 15 years that I know, like, and trust, told me I should call you. Who is that? Sean Hannity or whoever. Pick whoever you want. Could be your local person, but people that listen to the radio get into that rut routine of listening over and over and over. And how many times you've heard people say, like, I feel like I know them. Why? Because I've been listening to Jason on the radio for 15 years. I mean, my radio show is on Saturday. I love doing it, but I've been doing it for 15 years. And I've wanted to quit 1,000 times. And every time I even think about doing it, I'll run into somebody in the community. They'll be like, man, that was a great show Saturday. That was awesome. I'm like, really? All right.
Like, no, don't say that to me. That's not what I want to hear. Tell me it was terrible.
But it's just, we have fun with it. We make it a good time. And the agents, it helps our agents too. All these things that we're talking about, if you're if you're not in a position to do radio and TV on your own, I get with a team that can, because I believe it also makes your conversion much easier, because you're stepping into a space of trust already and branding. And I've never had an agent go on any appointment in my market, whether it be a buyer or seller, and they're like, wait, we ain't never heard of you. Who are you guys? You know, that introduction's already there. But again, a lot of times the inbound traffic is really good. And there's really not, you know, most of the people have already made a decision. Like, I'm hiring Misty. That's it, period. I'm calling her and that's it. You know, so it's a great leverage tool.
It's awesome. So let's play your radio spot real quick for I think it's the handy one. Share sound.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, the real estate market is constantly changing. Now, here to give us more insight into this is my friend Jason Bramblett. So where are we in the market today?
Hey, Sean, you know, it's interesting. It's kind of wide open right now. We've got interest rates bouncing all around. A lot of chatter out here on the social media aspect too, is this market going to crash, or are we going to be okay? But I'm encouraged. The traffic is up. People are still shopping. So I'm encouraged with real estate.
Now, how does that affect the price of homes?
As of right now, Sean, we're holding pretty steady. I think with supply, you know, being down, we're going to see home values hold. However, should those interest rates really start to kick in and start affecting buyers, well, we could give a little bit of the equity back. Hopefully not, but, you know, time will tell, as they say.
All right, great insight, and thank you for this update. Don't trust your home to just anyone. Call Jason Bramblett now. Online at jasonbramblett.com. That's jasonbramblett.com.
When did you record that? That's cool.
That was just within the last quarter, for by Q1, January, something like that. Yeah,
It's a good spot. That's cool.
we've had some fun with the donuts. Steve, who works with Matt on Matt's team, he does a great job, and we get creative and have some fun with some of those Sean Hannity spots. But it's just a good little, you know, interactive thing. So
let me ask all of you guys this, and you know, I didn't think about this, but like, how easy does Matt and his team and the radio and television experts make it to like continue to like update and make sure you're getting the right ads placed, and like the whole process of like, because you're busy, like I can't even imagine trying to do something like this on your own. It'd be crazy. Like how easy is it to like, you know, work with the team and continue to get like, you know, make the adjustments to the ads that you have to make so you're getting the right ads up to date and on the radio, right?
I think just real quick, like, it's not about the easiness or convenience. Sure, that's a nice piece of it, but it's about having the visibility over top teams all over the entire country and what's working and what's not working. And so to make adjustments and iterations to spots in real time. So for example, if Jason has a spot that's hitting really strong, it's easy for Matt and his team to go to the rest of the network throughout the entire country and say, let's see if it's market specific, or let's just see if this is a really good spot based on the climate of the market right now. And so it allows you to cut down on some of the errors that when you do a spot that might not resonate with your audience, or something that might not be time sensitive anymore. And it allows them to get like feedback and data in real time and distribute that across all of the agents that participate.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you mentioned the team, Scott, because if I didn't have a team, there's no way we could do what we do at the scale that we do. Because the fact is, I mean, to have an editor like Jason mentioned, like with, you know, on our team that could do nothing but focus on crafting a spot and editing and tweaking it to make it sound like a real interview on the radio that's authentic, or having people that, I mean, when you're on 400 stations, to listen to spots, make sure they sound good, remind people to send stories,
Yeah,
you know,
That's
that,
right.
but just little stuff like that they do that I couldn't do to 200 people. And it's just amazing to work with a team that's worked so well together, and to do all that. It's a tribute to them just as much. But I appreciate the kind words. though, Ryan, we've worked hard to build a great culture of agents too that are willing to share. He actually had a good experience of how his own product, he had to hear the approach on radio in another market that he put into practice in his market to make it work. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, explain that a little bit.
So, we have Fellow, which we found, which is just a massive seller lead generation engine. And the whole goal of it is to help agents, my team, and a lot of our other teams, Jason, Misty's team, et cetera, leverage basically converting at a higher level of leads already acquired and increasing basically the return or conversion on those leads through multiple channels. And one of those channels are we create these embeddable widgets for websites that have a very high optimized mobile journey and convert just at a really strong level, right? So anyways, all of a sudden we see one of the other rate clients and we see everything on the back end of leads coming in and stuff like that. And it's literally going crazy. Within 24 hours, he generated like 200 and some leads. I've never seen anything like it, right? And so we're reaching out to him. We're like, what did you do? Like, what is happening right now? Like, and he had this live radio spot that just was very, very focused and articulated the consumer experience really well. And it obviously resonated with that market because within 48 hours was calling up my radio host, I got to get down to the station. I got to show you how our website works and how I can get you your home value in seconds. And then we can do our guaranteed offer. I sat down with all three hosts and walked them through the process, but it was all because us on the back end started just seeing it was lighting up, you hit the jackpot with this one spot. And so now what we've been trying to do is not just through Fellow, but also with Rate is show the value of that spot on how you can see your home value in seconds, how it's this really delightful consumer experience, how you can, if you are doing some sort of cash offer or guaranteed offer, how, you can continue along in the journey and get that. And so I just found it interesting that we kind of found out accidentally a really successful spot, and then it kind of spread throughout Rate really quickly.
Yes, I think it goes to show kind of how the leverage of the radio and how you can use that with these other things that you're doing within your business. And specifically, obviously, we're talking about Fellow, but how that it kind of mingles with everything else that you're working on. And then you can identify what's working and what's not working very quickly like that, right?
I think radio is a great distribution channel to get whatever message you out to a large frequency of people. So I love what Jason's doing. He's using it from a recruiting standpoint. That's something that we need to start incorporating into the mix, right? We've used it, Misty's used it also from a standpoint of expanding geographically. We used to just work in the eastern side of Cleveland, and over the past 7-8 years, now we're all over Northeast Ohio, which is 3.5 million people, right? Would have never been able to get that type of frequency without a really large, mass media type of channel like radio. So for us, it's really strong. If you're all of a sudden doing a new program, it's a great distribution network. If you're recruiting agents, if you're whatever you want to get out really fast to a large audience of people, it's been really powerful for us.
If you wouldn't mind, Ryan, while you're on a roll, talk a little bit about, because what's interesting, all of you have had made changes during the pandemic, the last 2 years, and you haven't sat still. You've done a lot of new and different things. I want to get back to Jason Synch on recruiting in just a moment, but talk about the transformation of how the website, how important that is, because I think especially with the emergence of OTT or a Fellow, even you're starting an iBuyer company, how you've discovered how important the website is in this whole process.
Yeah. If I could go back in time and tell a younger version of myself, give myself some advice, I'd tell myself to listen to Matt 4 years ago or 5 years ago. When you think about it, what radio does is it creates awareness, right? But ultimately, as soon as they hear that message or when they hear that message over a long period of time, general consumer behavior now is to first Google you, right? And so something that Matt was like adamant about was get your reviews up, make your Google My Business, like that's important because that's that first step of the consumer journey. No matter what type of vanity URL you have, they are still going to Google. Maybe they just Google that URL. I used to have I Trust Ryan. More people would Google I Trust Ryan versus actually putting it in as a URL, right? So that first component is make sure your Google profile, your Google presence is strong, that people type your name, they type your real estate team, they'll find you. Well, once they find you on Google, because you have a strong presence, the next thing they're going to do is hit your website, right? So what happens when they hit your website? Is the message clear? You know, is it the same message that they were hearing on the radio, or does it conflict with the message that they hear? So now you have some consistency from people that are going and Googling you to driving to your website. Well, what we've done is we found that the consumer experience and conversion is really crucial to actually getting them from Google to your website to actually becoming a lead. And where I say, you know, I wish I would have listened to Matt. I think a lot of agents, myself included, are just waiting for the leads to come in, right? And when they're not coming in, we're calling guys like Matt and saying it's not working, right? Well, what we've done is we've created some measures to give you some in-between measurables of, are people hitting your website? Then if they're hitting their website, are they hitting the journey to start the lead process or the form submission? And are you seeing abandonment? And if you're seeing abandonment, well, is there a disconnect between the message or what they're looking for? And I say that because when you can measure every step of the way from them Googling you, to the analytics on your website, to the number of people that what we call address captures or partials, to starting the journey to actually becoming a lead, now you can start to see if there's a leak in the funnel, if for some reason you're not getting the lead deliverability that you're expecting. And then you can start going in and identifying where is that leak and why is that happening? Are they Googling you and they can't find you? Or when they Google you and they find you, they land on your website and it's not what they were expecting, or there's a misalignment of messages, and every step of the way. And we could do that with our team as from a sales perspective, right? Did they call them quick enough? Did they set the appointment? Did they convert on the appointment? Did they put them under contract? So on and so forth. But we're just looking at it from a much earlier start, from when that consumer hears the message all the way to how they get to becoming into our ecosystem, all the way through to revenue.
No, it's been a game changer and it's been very helpful to so many of our agents. And I appreciate you, Ryan, for all the time and energy you put into it. It's really, it's been a huge game changer this year.
It changed. Here's the funny thing. And you know, when some of the spots that our hosts do for me personally, they tie real estate to e-commerce, and we don't normally look at real estate as e-commerce, but think about it like this. You go onto your favorite e-commerce website to buy some clothes, whatever. You put something in the cart, right? In your cart, and then you get busy, you get sidetracked. Next thing you know, 24 hours later or 5 minutes later, you're getting an email that says you still have items in your cart. You never gave them your email, right? But now you're getting reminded that you put things in your cart, trying to pull you back into that funnel. Well, you don't do anything with it. 3 days later, 7 days later, you get a notification or an email that says you have an item in your cart that just went on sale, right? And it's like, once again, pulls you back into the funnel. And you think of what these multi-billion-dollar companies are doing from a consumer behavior, from a lead capture, from a conversion standpoint. And if we can apply a fraction of that to our just little local real estate businesses, think about how powerful that is. But we've never looked at it through that lens. Yet the consumer, when you go to make a restaurant reservation, you're now going on OpenTable or on Resi or whatever it is. You don't call the restaurant. And if you do, it's an inconvenience. And so it's like, I'm starting to just look at the real estate industry so much different of what is the consumer's experience or expectations outside of our industry. Yet we're asking them to go back to the traditional approach that we've been doing it for the past however long. And that's been somewhat instrumental in how we've kind of approached, you know, what we're doing with Fellow, and continuing to really elevate and keep our focus along that lines.
Yeah, man, I love what you're saying there. Like when I think about a user experience, when I purchased the Tesla, man, I never spoke to anybody. It just was through an app. And it's a big purchase. And it was one of the greatest user experiences I've ever experienced. It was so simple, clear each step of the way. That's what you need to be doing with the house, right?
It's so funny. We just bought my wife a Tesla. We showed up to the dealership on a Sunday. They opened up at 10 a.m. We walked in at like 9:58 and they're like, can I help you? And we're like, yeah, we'd love to like see a car. They're like, do you have an appointment? And we're like, no. We just like, we're thinking about maybe like getting a Tesla, right? And they're like, that's not how it works. You just buy the car online. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do we like? How? And then they literally just sat us at a computer in the Tesla dealership. They're like, you have like 15 minutes for the first appointment comes in. And it was like the most foreign concept. And at first I was like, I don't know if I like this. But then once it was done, it got delivered. Everything was so seamless from there. Like once my expectations were reset, like, and to tie it to radio, and our hosts are articulating that experience to the listeners now because they're going through it. We're basically saying to our radio hosts, and that's what's so powerful about this one spot is I want you to put in your property address on our website and see how easy it is to get a home value. I want you to see what it's like to be the consumer. And now the host is really able to articulate that to their listeners. And so it's setting the expectation of what it's actually like when you go to our website, how quickly you can get a home value, what happens when you get the home value. And I think that's been really impactful in kind of these new spots we're running.
I love it, man. And if anyone's got questions, feel free to put them in. We'll get to them in the last like 10 minutes or so of the, of this webinar. Why don't I play your spot, Ryan? I think you just did one. I mean, it looks pretty new right now. And then we'll kind of circle back to like a little bit about some recruiting too. Okay. And let me do this real quick. Share.
For you, or go to mortagefinancial.com.
This real estate market is starting to heat up. I mean, it normally does this time of the year, but I'm hearing from more and more people it is really starting to heat up. Things are selling fast. I mean, fast. So here's the question. Are you thinking about it? You thinking about what your home might get on the market? But forget the market. Let's see what Ryan Young says right now. This is Bill Wills for the Young team. Ryan Young and the Young team. You've probably seen his billboards around town. We've been talking about Ryan Young for a long time. It just takes purely a few seconds. Once you put in your address at the Young team on what your home will get you. I mean, literally get you. And you've got different options with the Young team. Want to list it? Fine. Want to get an instant home cash offer, a guarantee offer? Fine. There's different ways nowadays because things are different. On your smartphone, you can do so much, including right now with just a few seconds, put in your address at the Young team and let's see what your options are when it comes to cash for your home. Yeah. I know you're thinking about it. TheYoungTeam.com. TheYoungTeam.com. Do it now. TheYoungTeam.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart.
And it's funny because I almost want him to lead with that home value piece first, and then from there take it in. So it's, they're switching them up every day. I love the the variability of it, but I feel like the ones that hit the hardest are where he says, like he's done some where he's like, you're waiting in your car in line at Starbucks. We were talking about earlier, like relatable, right? You're waiting in your car in line at Starbucks. While you're waiting, see how much your house is worth. You can get that in seconds. Go to theyoungteam.com, you put in your address and there's your home address. There's your value from a local expert. And it's relatable. It's like, there's probably people literally sitting in their car waiting for their Starbucks. And it's like, it just clicks, So he's done some really cool spots that I just feel like are very relatable.
So overall, Ryan, like what do you see when like you think about, I mean, it's hard to even put into words how it's changed your life and your business, right? Being part of radio and television and working with Matt and everything. But like, how have you seen specifically like the listing business? Like what is it doing for you when you have all these spots and all these things happening? Like, I mean, it literally led you to this other company that you built because of everything that was happening, right? I mean, just talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, here's what's interesting is I don't know how to control seller lead generation and make it predictable without radio. And then when like now obviously Fellow is starting this vision of making lead generation on the sell side, on the list side, more predictable, right? So like people that aren't doing radio, if I said to you, I want you to go generate 10 listing appointments this week or this month or whatever it is, I don't know where they're going to get it. Now, I started my business off with calling expireds, calling FSBOs, which was really powerful to teach me that skill set and learn how to hunt and convert. This was 2010 when I got in the business. Like it was a totally different business, right? But that really isn't been a pain point over the past couple of years. So it's like you've removed that like tool out of your, toolbox essentially. So it's like, where else do you go generate seller leads? And for us, over the past 7 years, radio has really opened our eyes up to like, it's been our most dependable listing lead generation source outside of our sphere of influence database. Fellow is just an enhancement to that. Once again, long-term creating predictability and building a big pipeline, but it's all been influenced by how we approached radio and how consistent the lead flow has been. And it really is. I don't know, Jason, Missy, you guys might have a different opinion. I don't know if there's another as predictable listing lead generation source for you guys. For us, we've been looking for it, and it's like it's just been radio.
I love hearing about that, Ryan, is that about a year ago, if you remember, we were having some hard conversations about conversion. We finally made some tweaks. This product, you made the website, the change happen. You implemented those things. And then now you see how it completely did a 180. And you've helped even other people inside of Rate who are still, we know names, right? Who are still kind of wondering, has radio lost its effect? And it's interesting how you could take a diamond and turn it on its side, find a different side to it, and it glows, right? Sometimes it takes a different approach to a similar idea. And that's what you've done. And kudos to you for having the willingness to trust and implement those things. And all of you really, because you've all done different things that you said no to actually the first time. And you've done them.
Yeah.
And look at what's happened.
Yeah. And I think, just like real quick, and then I'll shut up. Like, I think the biggest mistake I made was we started on radio 7 years ago or whatever it was. And it was like drinking, out of a fire hose. And it was a great story. The first, Matt was like, I think, give it 6 months, but you got to make sure you give it 6 months. Don't just go first month and be like, it's not working. Got no leads. I think the first 30 days, it was a huge expense. I was like a FSBO expired guy. I didn't spend money on any marketing. I created all our own business, worked with a lot of investors, stuff like that. Finally, after 2 months, I get my first call. It's from an attorney. We were doing the guaranteed sale. It was from an attorney. And they said, we had someone that we have a property that we inherited or whatever, where someone committed suicide in it. And would you guys do the guaranteed sale on that property? And I'm like, oh my God, these are the type of calls I'm going to be getting. This is what I signed up for. This is my first lead. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. And then of course, 2 days later, I got a great listing lead where they're like, we've been hearing you on the radio. And then from there, it just took off. Right. But over those 7 years, probably about right when COVID started, it starts to get a little complacent. I get to a point where you just take it for granted. The leads just keep coming in. And I think where the mistake we made was we didn't continue to switch up the spots. We didn't continue to keep it fresh. I stopped visiting my radio host. And radio is one of those things that the more you put into it, the more you get out. The better relationship you have with your host, the more they're actually lobbying for you and really selling you and stuff like that. And I think over these past probably, Matt, 6 months or so, I've been more bought in to actually getting back, and it's made such a difference. And it's completely changed the outcome of the opportunities we're getting, no doubt about it.
I could tell you just listening to that radio spot that the host was bought in. You can hear in his tone.
He loves it.
You know what?
He
And
thinks
that
he loves
people,
it.
it might be subconscious sometimes to people, but they can hear that too, right? And so I think what you said probably rings true to a lot of people in the group, but with this in general, is that you got to be bought into the process, be invested into the people that you're working with that are doing these spots for you, right?
But you know what's funny is just that guy that just did that spot, he hasn't sold his a house for like 20 some years. So it's really hard for him to, relate and resonate this, get a guaranteed offer on your home and using technology and stuff like that. So I actually had to go there and actually show him, have him him be the actual consumer and what it's like and walk him through this step-by-step process. And he was like blown away. He's like,
yeah, light bulb
I can't
moment.
believe it. Yeah, he's like, I
Holy
can't
shit,
believe
that was
this
that
is
easy.
like-
Wow, look at my phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. God, this is great. This is great. I'm loving it. So let's kind of jump back and talk about, all right, so there's listings you generate, right? And there's business you generate, but then you gotta have team members. Let's talk a little bit more about recruiting and what this has done, because then obviously the more people you have on your team that are rock stars, the more money you can put into spending, and then you can generate more. And it's like this thing, right? That happens, right? Let's talk a little bit about recruiting, what this has done for you as well, and allowing you to bring in amazing people into your businesses. Why don't we start with you, Misty?
Well, interestingly, I would do recruiting videos with my radio personalities and then send them to my database. And I have a couple of past clients that directly came from getting those emails from me where I'm talking to one of our personalities about joining my team and events that we're having and things like that. We also talk about what it's like to be a real estate agent and what it's like on my team, on my talk show regularly, and invite people to our upcoming events. And that's been super effective. But I just think the more you work it in different ways with the personalities you're working with, and then the different mediums that you're using, it just really compounds on itself.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So for you in bringing these people, I mean, sorry, I got caught up because I was starting thinking about it's like when you start treating your business as a real business, like anyone else would be like, hey, we're hiring, but you have this leverage of people already know, like, and trust you from a selling real estate perspective, to where when you go to the market with different offers or different things that you're doing, there's you get people that are having light bulb moments like, oh, I can go work for her, or oh, she's doing this thing now and she's doing that thing, and it resonates. It's like you have all these different pathways to growing your business in a sense.
Yeah, and I mean, a regular thing that I talk about on the talk show is, here's how some agents do it, and here's how we do it. And this is why, and then we bring agents on a regular basis and talk about their successes, like what it was like as a solo agent or in their prior career versus what their life's like now being part of the team. So that just really has worked extremely well for not just me saying, oh, it's really great here, but having testimonials from people that have had those successes.
Yeah, telling their story. It's amazing. I love that. Jason, what about you, man? Talk a little bit about the recruiting that you're doing. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that you're trying to get to a certain amount of
100
agents. 100? Is that what you said?
Yeah. 100. So we're leveraging the Bobby Bones endorsement. And one of the things that I think people listen to his show because it's funny, it's fun, and it's entertaining. And so we just incorporated that into the spots about our real estate team. And then we show off those pieces as well. So we do team events. We go every month, the team comes up with something that we go do. And so just really kind of piggybacking on that. Yeah, it's business. We want people to, succeed, make money. We got the training, the systems, the processes, all of that. But, people also want to have fun. So we've incorporated, that's kind of his big push. It seems to be resonating with a lot of agents because I think a lot of agents right now are saying, God, dog, real estate ain't so fun no more. Like, where'd the 35 offers per house go? And, you know, it seems different than it was 24 months ago, right? And so a lot of them have to learn new skills. Most, I don't know the exact number. I believe it's somewhere between 40 to 45% of the real estate agents that are active right now have absolutely no idea how to sell a home in a market where, and I know this to be true because we're getting calls to our office and they're asking us, what's wrong with the house? It's been on the market for 7 days. You know, because that's weird. And they don't know, they don't understand. Like, if you go back 48 months ago, 60 months ago, like, that was pretty normal, man. Like 60 days on the market was pretty normal. So there's a lot of agents that are standing around here going, I don't understand what's happening. There's, you know, there's houses aren't moving as quick. There doesn't seem to be as many listings. You know, what am I going to do? So they're really searching right now for leadership. They're searching for people that have been through some stuff. And the great thing about, you know, I don't know if it's good or bad, 25 years in the business, I've seen just about everything. So, you know, I can't predict the future, but I know we have the skill set to get people through it for sure. Definitely. And we can see around corners, but yeah, the radio definitely has been excellent for us in getting that word out about, you know, we're growing. Another thing too, I will say is we've actually gotten listings from our recruiting spots. And we've had several, you know, owners, you know, say, hey, we want to work with a company that's growing. We've never even heard of a real estate company hiring.
Are you looking?
Yeah, I love that because, and this is what kind of Misty mentioned too, getting listings from doing a recruiting spot, right? Like, or getting some business coming in that way. It validates your professionalism, the type of business you have, that you're growing and that you're legit, right? So let's listen to your spot real quick. This is one you just mentioned, Bobby Bones.
Looking to start a career in real estate or find more support in your growing career and you don't know where to look? What's happening, everybody? It is Bobby Bones here. You need to talk to my friend Jason Bramblett or any team member at Jason Bramblett Real Estate. Today's shifting market can leave you feeling lost and frustrated, but working with Jason means having all the support you need, from a super competitive commission structure to health insurance and a whole lot more. Get more information at jbreteam.com. That's jbreteam.com.
There we go.
One little and this is I don't know if you caught it. One little thing that he said in there: talk to Jason or any team member. We've had multiple agents reach out to other team members because, look, I'm the face of the company. Of course, I'm going to say it's great, right? But they've come around the backside of us, actually talk to our agents and tell me about your experience. And I know for sure we've added at least 3 or 4 people to the team since we've been running that spot, because they actually talked to the other team members before they called me or called the office.
I love that. Well, that's smart too. And those type of people you want to work with, or you want to bring in that actually are motivated to go talk to somebody that's already working on the team. Right. I used to tell that to people that were asking, you know, that would want to go work for a big company. I go, well, go interview someone that works at the company, right? See if it's actually a job you want to do. Go talk to them, you know? All right. So we got like 4 questions. I want to ask you guys real quick. I said we get to the questions. We got a few minutes left and then we'll wrap this thing up. It's been awesome. I appreciate it. So the first one was from an anonymous attendee. Okay. I didn't even know that was possible. That's awesome. Do we have more success with live radio pre-recorded spots? I think it's probably, you do good with both, but does anyone want to answer that question? I don't know if it's
do we have live recording of the which spots?
Is there more success with live radio or pre-recorded spots is what the question was.
Matt's probably best to, I have an opinion.
I think it just depends on the content. Like, for example, it'd be easy to say like fellow spots, like the one that Ryan used, you know, there. But the thing is, I know like both Misty and Jason have taped their radio shows and gotten good results off it. You know, obviously Barbara on TV's gotten great response, and Hannity isn't live, and that's gotten really good response. I think it really boils down to making sure the message is spot on and relevant, and that the website supports it. Because then when you make it easy to go to a website, fill out a form, and there's a compelling reason, that does get better response. But I think when a message is vague and you can't find somebody when you Google search them, you can have the best message in the world, but if your Google presence stinks, you're not going to get results.
Yeah.
I feel like you've said in the past too, Matt, that if you're working with a local personality and you're starting that relationship with them, they're getting to know you as your business and who you are, that live element creates a little more energy within it. But then it's, working with a live personality versus Sean Hannity, very different experience level and connection level with who their listeners are potentially. And so, but I think that's where it's not one size fits all. That's where rate is so key. And here's the situation, and here's what we think would work best for this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. And also I think, like, when it's a big enough personality, like a national personality, people, naturally you assume that it's probably pre-recorded.
Right. They're not like they're
Yeah.
sitting beside
During
you.
the 20 seconds they have, they just called you on the phone. All right. So, and then next question, this is from Jeff Chubb. What's up, Jeff? On average, how many impressions does each radio spot get you? Assuming it depends on the market, of course. Is there a target dollar per 1,000 impressions when it comes to like what you're looking for?
Not for me. I don't have a trackable metric per impression. We just look at the lead flow, and again, I think it comes again, if the message is right and they want the information, they're going to fill out the form, they're going to fill out the information, they're going to sign up on the website, they're going to call the office. So if your message, I would say what I've learned in 15 years of radio is when my message wasn't on point with what the consumer was looking for, nobody called. That's pretty simple. And when my message was in line with what the consumer was looking for, the phone blew up. So whether that was a guaranteed cash offer on their home, the guaranteed sale, we're hiring, whatever the message is, it's got to be relevant to those listeners. And yeah, I mean, that's the best answer I can give you there.
I would say to that, though, that OTT, especially over the top TV, allows you to be a lot more granular. And that's where we talk the impressions game. That's where we talk the click-through game. That's where we really talk to the reaction game much more. Radio is still more organic. It's not as trackable. You don't always know who happens to be listening at that given moment. So that makes it a little bit harder from that standpoint. But TV is going in that path, and you can definitely get that kind of data on a TV level.
Yeah. All right. Another question for you, Matt. What type of radio stations do you advertise on, and why do you pick them? So I'm assuming like when you're doing your discovery, and you're looking for certain stations, what are you looking for?
It really depends. I mean, every market is it's different. The way we buy Des Moines is different than the way we buy Cleveland. The difference in the way we buy Greensboro. We look at a lot of different factors. I mean, we look for who's a great storyteller, in that area. It was really actually a funny story how we picked the sports talk station in Des Moines. I think we love talking about this. So iHeart came in and cleared out their whole on-air staff, like fired them all in one day. There was such a public outroar about it. It made the 10 o'clock news. And I called the market manager because I knew him, and he said, yeah, we're gonna have to hire him back. I called Misty, said, Misty, we gotta be on this station, because if the public cares that much that it's going to make the 10 o'clock news, then they care about what they say. And so on paper, this station was like maybe a 7th or 8th rated station, but we looked deeper than just the ratings. We got to look at the reaction, right? And when there's that kind of reaction, we knew something was there, and it paid off. I mean, it was a hit. We negotiated a talk show because we also knew that their revenue was down. So we went in and got an even better deal. We got like a talk show for next to nothing on their sports talk station. So we capitalized on the opportunity, and that's no different than what we're doing right now. So it really varies. Every market is different. What we do is go in and figure out where's the needle moving in that market. And there might not be an opportunity at the moment. In fact, also, picking on Misty, when we first came to that market, the best station wanted way too much money. So we bought 2 other stations and then leveraged that to get to the one we really wanted in the first place. So it really kind of varies. It just, every market's a little bit different. There's no cookie cutter approach to it.
Yeah.
Just really quick to piggyback off that, something that has nothing to do with how the station performs in the market. But Matt, I think we learned this. Your team has to be bought in to the station or to the personality. And I'll give you an example. We got on country, which in Northeast Ohio performs really well, but my team is not country fans. So we just didn't resonate with the audience, the listeners, when we were going on appointments. There was no rapport building. There was no connection there. And you could tell it was just us using that as a lead generation channel versus us being very bought in to what the culture was of that station. We got on sports, although it's a smaller station. Cleveland's got pretty strong sports fans. Our team is very bought into sports. They all listen to the station. So when you have your team listening to the station, hearing your spots, we've helped now the host actually buy and sell homes and stuff like that. We get a lift in conversion essentially, and it's not really quantifiable. It's just very qualitative, but it's like, because we're bought in, because we're listening to those spots on our way into work when we're out on filling. And so that is something I would recommend, is make sure whatever stations you are marketing on, that there's some sort of buy-in from you and your team.
Great point.
All right. So we're a few minutes over. We want to kind of wrap it up. So real quick, I'm going to go Missy, Jason, then Ryan, give me a quick recommendation for what, why you believe in what Matt's doing with radio and television experts. And then Matt, we'll wrap up with, explaining that you got your upcoming event, which is going to be awesome. And then, if someone's watching right now, what they can do to get in touch with you. Okay. Missy, I'll start with you.
Well, being part of radio and television experts has truly been life-changing. It's been transformative for my business, not just because of the opportunities that they bring to each of us, but because the network itself it's a lot of people from different markets that are really looking to be disruptors in their market. So it just is a big thinking group. And so, I felt like in joining radio and television experts as a group, it just completely opened my eyes to thinking about my business in a different way. And so, Matt's been just a very innovative advisor, and watching it's like when Ryan comes up with a great product like Fellow, it just makes sense that everyone in Rate gets super excited about it, because we get that big picture vision of what he's trying to accomplish. And then we're so thrilled that we get this insider scoop on an amazing opportunity. So it just all really works so well together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, to me, it's I'm a real estate operator. I'm not a radio guy. I'm not a radio guy. And so many agents, think about you. If you're out here flying around trying to build a team, or you're solo, most agents are the agent, the marketing person, the delivery person, the negotiator, the transaction coordinator, you're the closing coordinator. You're wearing all these hats. You want to wear radio also? You want to be your own ad agency? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, Matt has way more experience in it than me. All I want to do is exactly what I do. Show up, run my mouth, record my spot, move on to the next deal, right? That's it. Make it that easy.
Yeah. Well said, Mr. Bramblett. Well said. Ryan, I'm going to wrap up with you, and then we'll wrap up with Matt, and we'll call it a day. And I appreciate everyone staying a little bit over.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I said, it's the entrepreneurial brains of real estate that are a part of the group, right? It's people that are constantly looking for the next thing that's going to elevate or lift their business. And it's a sharing group of people that when things are working, right, they're very vocal about what's working and what's not. And I think that's rare in our industry. It's kind of like an individual sport type of mindset industry. And so when you can combine these entrepreneurial type of mindsets that are really sharing and giving, and then you provide a vehicle like radio that's mass frequency, mass media, stuff like that, it just becomes really powerful. So I've just always been really attracted to what Matt has built and how he's been able to keep all of these really strong entrepreneurial, people consistently giving and contributing over almost the decade that I've been in it.
Yeah, and I would have to jump in and say, I've been working with Matt for 11 years now, which is crazy to say. And you still have the best and strongest real estate minds in your group than any other group that I've been a part of. And you do it year after year, bringing amazing people in. You put on an amazing event, but you just have an amazing group of people that want to grow and, like Misty said, disrupt the industry and be on the forefront of change, and all while growing amazing businesses. So kudos to you, Matt, for doing that. It's amazing.
Well, I appreciate it, Scott, and appreciate you guys. I mean, look, it all kind of all gels together, right? You could have a great idea, but when you've got 200 plus agents that are all sharing their best ideas, it comes together. And what I'm excited about, like with Mastermind, is not only to hear what's working now, but other ideas that come out of it that will come from the event. Also, people like you, Scott, with RealSync, with what you do to integrate stuff, bring it together, make this work together. Because without a good website, without good systems to follow up on leads and integrate the leads, it would all fall apart, right? So the other partners that are there, we got 10 brilliant businesses that also contribute to the bigger picture that are going to be there. They're handpicked. We don't let them be there unless we've got great people using them successfully. And you're certainly one of those. And thanks for doing this. I mean, really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So if there's people watching a replay or whatever, and they want to get in touch with you, or they're interested in finding out if their market's available to do this, what's the best way to get in touch, man?
Really easy. Just go to radio and televisionexperts.com. Tell them, fill out the form, even if you think the market's open. In this market, things change. And this market is full of either winners or whiners, people that are either warriors or worriers. And there's a lot of changes happen, but we got a lot of warriors in our group. And so the times are changing and things can change. I've had 3 people die on me in the last like 4 years that I never would have dreamed that would happen. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, what do we do now? Right. But yeah, and that's not to say that unless you're in Greensboro, Des Moines, or in Cleveland, don't raise your hand.
That's right.
But also, you got your event in 2 weeks. So if you want to really get a taste and experience this, go sign up, fill out the form, talk to Matt, see if you can come to the event and experience what it is to be part of this group.
It's life-changing, really is. And I'd love for more people to experience it.
Awesome. Misty, Jason, Ryan, Matt, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. You guys are awesome. I appreciate being able to be part of this as well, and appreciate all of you. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks so much, everybody.
All of you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Later.
Thanks, you guys.